Alright guys, we're doing a 150k service on this 2014 PRADO. We're going to have a look at a couple of things. There's not a lot to see here. It's only done 150,000 k's, you know. Things like the brakes will probably need replacing again soon. Hard for you to see there, but this isn't a brake checking video. But rear pads probably next service or two. Yep, tyres look pretty good. Got the BFKO2s, all the bushes, everything, all the bearings. We've lived the drive line, 150k, basic check over. If you want to see other information, things to check out my other videos, because we run through all the usual things to check and stuff like that. I have had a couple of questions recently, so I'm going to try and think of what they are and answer those. Someone said, what about, okay, on the 150, here we go, it was on this. What about what brand of tie rod ends? What brand of inner rack ends? Well, only genuine, of course. And someone else also asked when to replace them. Okay, when they get play in them. Now, if there's a very small amount of play, it may be acceptable, that's up to you, and then you keep an eye on it, or you can replace it. Obviously, once they get a bit of play in them, you'll get a bit of movement in the wheel bearings. Can you basically, sorry, I just got someone else here. I'm trying multitasking. It's all good. So basically, what happens with the 150s? We don't really see worn the ball joint in there. That's inside the boot there. That's the inner rack end. It's more so sometimes they can come loose, but we don't see that a lot either. So they certainly don't need to replace. All these tie rod ends don't need to be replaced at any particular kilometres. We don't see regular wear or failures with those. It's going to be at much higher Ks. We see them at, you know, 400,000 or 500,000 Ks and they're still okay. So there you go. Now on this one, this flap, you can see that flap there's been torn out of the way. You can see it's torn. Okay, I believe it's been torn. I don't know why it's been torn yet. Probably someone installing something, because those, see those? They don't just rip on their own like that. But anyway, so that's a small issue, and it's got these OUTBACK ideas. Here's an OUTBACK. It was an OUTBACK idea, but I don't know if it really worked that well, because here you've got a steel 16 or 18 mm thick steel with 360-degree welds on both sides, as we've you know, demonstrated before, which is perfectly strong enough to rip the whole front end off the car. So I don't know why you'd kind of like come for a bolted, you know, 1, 2 bolts only, a bolted arrangement. And what's happened here, you can see that one's nice and straight. Yeah, you can see that. Let's have a look over this side of the car. Ooh, what's going on there? Ooh, what's happened there? You know, look at that. You know, it's all very bent, guys. That's about, I reckon that's about, if you measured that, that is about 20 mil out, you know. If I took that from that tip there, say from that tip right there, this belongs over here somewhere, right? So it's double the thickness of that material plus out of its position. So it's had a bit of a side pull by the look of it, which I don't know how good that is on, you know, you've got 8.8 high tensile. That's the lowest grade of high tensile steel. If you're going to start pulling these things sideways, I don't know about, I hope that, yeah, I don't know. Look, I just see the thing about these, right? You know, your ropes, or it can come to the side, they can go, nothing's going to bend when it comes sideways like that, right? And of course, there's a limit on strength to everything, and these are, you know, toe points, that's what they are. They're not tie down points and all that. You've got to watch that rubbish you read on Facebook and online, all these places, all these experts talking about tie down points, whatever. No, they're not tie down points. They are called toe points. Okay, the fancy word recovery, that's these, you know, whatever anyway, right? So back up to the rubber. So basically, I wanted to point that out, but let's have a look what else. Aftermarket suspension, some GVM upgrade. Bushes look all right. Everything looks all right. We've checked all the boots, CV boots, everything looks all right. Normal things to, you know, the bushes. See these bushes in here? They're going to start cracking. See on the left there? See the start of the crack? See it says NR, and there's a little arrow each side of it. That's the middle of the material where the bush is at the bottom, what we can see. And if you look right to the left of it, you can see about a 10% crack. And you're going to find probably the same over this side, because it's all based on averages. And look at that, on the inside, see on the right, you've got that little 10% crack. That could stay the same for 100,000 Ks, guys. So don't be panicked because you see a few little cracks like that. Suspension looks all right. The boot's a bit dented in there, no big deal. This is a, you know, it's got the KDSS, whatever. Look, there's not much else to show you other than, look, this fuel tank damage. It's a little bit stoved in. I think that probably happened before the lift kit came into action, because your lift protects your vehicle from this sort of damage and that. See, this back plate was also dragging. I'm pretty sure that was all pre-lift kit, right? So, guys, the sooner you get your 2-inch lift in, the sooner you protect the underbody of the vehicle, and less likely you're going to get hung up and need any sort of recovery. And usually you can get out of it without using these, and without using anything really heavy duty. If you do, you can use this one, do a bit of digging, do a bit of this, whatever you need to do. Usually if you get stuck, the softer you go in, the easier you get out. The harder you go in, the harder it is to get out. And if you really get some experience and think about what you drive into before you damage your vehicle. You can get these if you like, you can do whatever you like. Some people have got them and they like them. We're just saying you just don't need them. We prefer the steel. Last time I measured it, it was, I think it's 18mm thick. As I said, 360-degree welds. This side, ×2. And same around that side as well, right? You can see the welds around there, straight through the chassis, right? That is not coming off. I promise you, I'll guarantee it myself, right? They're not coming off. What will come off if you pull that hard enough, you're just going to tear the whole front of the chassis off the car, okay? Yeah, definitely, right? So they are strong. They're not going anywhere, anywhere. No leaks at the radiator, anything like that. What else can we look at? There's nothing to see on this car. Like, you know, 150, 160,000 Ks. Oh, okay, here we go. Here's something to look at. And this is why I say only use genuine parts and don't touch some things, right? Now, at 150,000 Ks and at 300,000 Ks for that matter, there's no reason to remove the transmission pan. And you can see this one's been removed because we can see the aftermarket cork gasket there. And if you look at the back of it, you can see a bit of a dry line and a wet line from there. See at the back here, that's the colour when it's dry, and this is the colour when it's wet. And that may be from when they installed it, or it could be it's starting weeping already. It could be over tightened. You can see the little bumps at the side here. I don't know if you can see them or not, but I can see them. Look, leave the damn pan alone. You don't need to take it off. It's not worth the contamination. Some people talk about, I'm glad I did and I cleaned the magnets. The magnets don't stop attracting wear and materials, okay? Leave the damn things alone. You don't need to take the pan off. I'm telling you, 400,000 Ks, you don't need to take the pan off, right? But at that point, you might want to refresh the gasket and do it anyway. If you do, use genuine gaskets and genuine filters. Stop with this buying quality Toyotas and then going and buying your El Cheapo transmission service kits, you know? Let's have a look up at the turbo. This one's lucky. It's bone dry, right? Nice and dry. It's what you want, but they're not always like that. Sometimes they've got a bit of oil on them. We're not worried about that. Check those aircon pipes up there. We've mentioned it in other videos. If you haven't watched them, you better search the don't do this type videos, right? There's some aircon pipes up there. And if you've had a dual battery installed in particular, they could be reworked out of their clips. And you can see the clip I'm going to show you, right? And this one, you can probably see that it's probably out of position. I can't see because I've got a damn camera in the way. I'm showing you, but I can't even see what I'm looking at. But see where that green wire and the pipe up there, and there's a black plastic clip right next to it, right? That's one of the next things we're going to check on this service once we get the car on the ground. We're going to do it from on the ground looking down and make sure none of these pipes are rubbing together, because what happens, that big pipe, it comes out of that clip there and it comes across, and see those other pipes that run up and down? Yeah, it rubs against there near the blue tape and yellow tape type area, and they'll rub through and it's going to be a big inconvenience for someone. So we're going to make sure that doesn't happen, and we're even going to make sure it doesn't happen for you by making these videos and sharing them. So if you like that, please remember to subscribe, turn the bell on, give us a thumbs up if you got something out of this one. Bit of brake pads left still, they're about 60% still. I'm trying to show you what there is to see when servicing a 150 PRADO at about 150,000 Ks. Mainly it needs a bit more of a clean-up. It's okay that it's used and it's a bit dirty, that's cool, but probably a bit more of a clean-up is what's going to help with the longevity and being able to spot things on a service if it's a bit cleaner, that sort of thing. So a little bit more cleaning. I really can't pick anything else. I'm about bada binged and bada boomed. guys, the only other thing you can do to help support if you want to get more videos and better videos is please share the channel, share the videos around, you know, click copy, share it to all your favorite places, to all your favorite people. Bada bing, I am bada bing, bada boom. I think that's it. Let's go back and have another look at that recovery point. Yeah, that's bada bing, bada boom, didn't it? That's boomed, that is. That's quite boomed. If I come around, yeah, that is. Yeah, so, I don't know. You have to talk to the engineers that design those. Has that compromised that in any way? And the bolts, I'm not the engineer on it. Anyway, guys, that's a bada bing, bada boom. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. See ya.